Hands have genuinely been one of the hardest things for me to draw. Never before have I ever experienced something as infuriating as drawing hands. There's too many parts, too many things. I just suck. I can't even draw hands like almost two-dimensional. Let's forget about all those foreshortening. But I also didn't want to just back down here. So what I thought is, let me just try drawing hands for 24 hours and see how much I can improve. 24 hours, that's a bit misleading because all I did is practice hands for 5 hours a day for 2 days, so that's like 10 hours. But throughout the duration of this, I also probably drew like 100 hands. Sometimes they turn out really good, other times not so much, and I think it's because I'm just eyeballing shit, you know? I can never seem to figure out the size of the palm, the length of the fingers, how big they're supposed to be, which way the fingers are supposed to point, none of those stuff. So for this video, I wanted to sort of talk about my experience these last 2 days on how I approach drawing hands and let you be the judge of whether I improved my hand drawing or not. Me personally, I think like 10 hours is way little time to really improve at anything, but I wanted like some semblance of hands in my drawing rather than just whatever this is. So here's what I did. First step I had to do was I had to sit down and actually watch a proper tutorial. So I went to Michael Hampton's book on figure drawing and I learned the basics of the structure and the construction of hand. And also there were a few notes on how the hands are slanted rather than straight, so we have to take care of this thing. And so I took this philosophy and then I downloaded like a reference image from Pinterest and I started working on those hands. It was starting to give the gesture of a hand which I liked and I was very happy. I was like, oh, this is immediate improvement. If only I had started the tutorial in the first place, my hands would not have sucked. I was very motivated. I was like, okay, maybe drawing hands is not as difficult as it seems. But then I decided to construct on top of these hands, and this is what the construction, like the final line art looks like. Yeah, to nobody's surprise, they actually look quite shit. It was a mess. But I had spent like 2 hours doing this. I spent so much time on this, and then this is the final result. And this is like a prime example of how practicing a bad thing for long does not mean it will automatically become good. And so I decided to take a deep breath and then change my approach. Psych, I didn't. In fact, what I did was go to Pinterest again and I thought maybe the hands were the problem. And so I downloaded another hand reference sheet and just drew hands again. Basically the same thing, and these are the second set. Now again, you might see there are like a few good ones here, but then I was also starting to get so frustrated. I started questioning my own designs. I think a few of them turned out decent because they were in like simple poses, kind of like this or like that. But the ones with a bit more fingers twisting, you know, a bit more dynamic, they did not really work out. Not to mention the foreshortening ones, the ones at the bottom here, the two of them. Those just look really horrible. If your drawings look bad, the first thing you should blame is your pen or your pencil or your digital tablet, and that's exactly what I did. I thought maybe drawing in tablet is maybe I'm not just habituated to it. I just got my tablet last week, so maybe, you know, my hand-eye coordination is not the best. So I said, let's go back to pen and paper. I sat down, I was reading a manga, and every time there was a hand in the manga, I would try to capture the gesture and the structure of the hand. I just turned the page, and then if there's a hand, I just try to capture the gesture. It was quite fun. But working with manga hands, I think they sort of helped me simplify things, because the first step that I learned was trying to capture the gesture of things and then build on the structure. I tried to draw them from Pinterest, and like some of them are good right here. This one I'm not sure, but like this one right here is quite good. And then others where the fingers are up, they're a bit difficult. And then I figured out my first problem was obviously trying too complex hand shapes. So I stuck to more two-dimensional, where I can actually draw the palm easily type of drawings. So things like these, even this. Oops. And then in this page, I tried to capture sort of the gesture of hands. And then in cases where there was detailed hand, I would also draw them. Some more gestures and then some more actual hands. And you know what the problem was? Like when I started like drawing actual shapes, the one thing that I always kept on forgetting to draw was these ebbings. Was these webbings of the hand, you know, these paddings, these things. I forgot to draw them. That's why my fingers always looked so long, because they were not connected with each other. Keeping this in mind, I decided to do some more hand practices, and well, in some figures like these ones here, you can kind of see the webbing start to appear. More so here as well, the webbing here. I was like, okay, this is the best I can do for now. So for the next portion of learning to draw better hands, I decided to just trace them based on whatever I've learned. Construction from Michael Hampton, the gestures that I practiced, and then also the webbing. I again went to Pinterest, downloaded a copy of hands and just traced on top of them. And this is what the tracing looks like. I think it's pretty decent. Like I'm following the structure basically. Sometimes I forget, but that's the disadvantage of tracing, I suppose. But I did this and I thought, okay, now let me like draw actual hands without tracing and see how they compare. And so I took the same reference image and I just drew. And I drew like 6 or 7 of these and then got bored. But yeah, this is what the new hands look like. Have they improved? I think yes, a little bit. At least they are starting to look like hands. Are they good? Probably not. There's so much volatility that I cannot actually tell. At least I now know the basics of how to construct a hand, and the next step is just practicing all of these things. I haven't even touched like the perspective foreshortening part of drawing hands because no. But you may be wondering why. Why did I want to learn hands in particular right now? Nothing much, I just wanted to draw like Trafalgar Law's hand. I tried once and it looked really bad, so after doing all of this exercise, I gave it a shot again, and this is what it looks like. Well, and that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I am so sick and tired of hands. I really want to draw something else now. To be honest, it was not as bad as I thought it would be. I think I had fun, even though it was just hands. And hopefully this is like the first step towards improving my hands. But yeah, thank you for watching, and this was all about hands. Thank you. Bye-bye.